Good morning, guys. Welcome to this daily currency call where we share our analysis and ideas for a specific currency for each day. So today is Friday, we'll be doing the Canadian dollar and cryptocurrencies. So before we start the session today, do help me with this poll. Is it your first time here? So just a disclaimer here, this webinar is going to be very beneficial to both the long-term investors and short-term traders. We will be going through what could move prices, possible trade ideas, and also highlighting potential targets and risk. A disclaimer here, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of the speaker. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. A quick look at the poll. Yeah, I see a lot of you guys coming in from the Traders Club. I see a couple of new people here. So do help me with the next poll. How did you get here? A quick introduction about Jin. Jin is the founder of LCMS Traders and Forex Briefcase. He teaches members of the LCMS Traders Club on how to trade FX. And for Forex Briefcase, he trades an account with more than US 13 million on a daily basis for his managed account clients. He's also an international speaker where he speaks in countries like Hong Kong, UK, US, Australia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, and of course here in Singapore, sharing his views about the FX market. Just a quick look at the poll again. I see a lot of you coming in from the Telegram channel. So I just want to do a quick sharing about what the Traders Club is all about. So just take a look at my screen. So this is our Traders Club platform where we teach, guide, signal, and coach you to be a better and more profitable trader. This is the place to be regardless of whether you are new, experienced, part-time, or full-time trading. If you have joined us from the Telegram, you may find this signal familiar. You have been enjoying our trade signals absolutely free. But the question you might have is that we have told you when to get into a trade, but you do not know where to exit. So over here in the Traders Club, we not only give you the signals earlier than the Telegram channel, we also tell you the strategy behind the signals in 5 steps and accompanied with chart, and actually guide you on where to exit, so that in the long run, you not only earn from the signals, but you also learn how to trade better. If you require some coaching, we have members only live Zoom sessions on Mondays and Wednesdays. So on Monday, we run through trade ideas, update you on recent market economic developments, and do a little bit of group coaching. And on Wednesdays, we do a live trading session where we trade live together. So this is the best time to pick Jin's brain on pretty much any trading related questions you might have. Lastly, we have a wide range of analysis here for our club members, our daily watch list, daily analysis, currency, correlation tables, breaking news analysis, all this information here provided to you, shortcutting your way to trading success, and a lot more features here like education videos, trading floor chat for everyone to interact with each other. So to join the group is very simple. It's a paid subscription of $199 a year, which is less than $1 a day. So if you are facing any uncertainty in your trading, make sure you join the club to improve on your strategy and consistency immediately. So trading can be lonely, but with a close-knit community ready to share, trading can be enjoyable and definitely profitable. If you haven't already, make sure you click on the link and join now. So with that, I'll pass the time now to Jin for the currency call.
Okay, so Friday, looking at the Canadian dollar, doing a bit of a review over the week we just had. It's been a ridiculously crazy week. And then also looking into next week. So let's get started straight away looking at the news. Someone just raise your hands. I note your hand. Put it in the chat if you have any questions. You have any, have any questions? Put it in the Zoom chat right now. One of the guys will get back to you. And also, if you are joining us on Facebook, we are on Facebook Live, jump onto the Zoom call so that you can ask questions on the chat. So looking at the news here, forextradingasia.com, we are looking on Friday. The Bank of Japan interest rate decision, should have come out. Looks like it's a little bit delayed. Monetary policy meeting minutes looks like it should be coming out. And there has been talk about the Bank of Japan relaxing on the yield control. We could see some strengthening in the yen pairs across the board, but waiting for some confirmation on that. But back to the focus of the Canadian dollar today. At 8:30 tonight, we have the core retail sales number for Canada was minus 4.1%, expected to minus 2.6%. Retail sales number looking to be a bit consistent, a bad kind of consistent, was minus 3.4%, expected to be minus 3. All right. So you can't silence me, you can't mute me. All right, so the retail sales number and the core retail sales number looks like it's going to come out at minus percentages, all right, minus 2.6, minus 3. Even if it does come out at even minus 2 or minus 2 point something on the retail sales number, this is still probably going to have some kind of effect on the Canadian dollar, and it's most likely going to weaken the CAD, right? So what it means to weaken the CAD, looking at the US CAD here on the H4 time frame, we've seen that big drop. We've seen that drop over last week and early this week, all the way down to about 1.2377. At 1.2377, we've seen that bounce off. Why? One of the reasons why we've seen, I'll put this line here, and I'll change it into a slightly different or drastically different color. Okay, why we saw that bounce here at 1.2377 or 1.2380 is because if I zoom out to the weekly time frame, you can see that the last time it got there was way back in 2018. Way back in 2018, long time ago since we got there. And it tested that level, went slightly below before that quick rebound back up. And we haven't seen it approach this level until now. Even further back from there, in late 2017, it did drop below 1.2380, testing 1.2150 before that big climb upwards again. So in the scheme of things, really that lower limit is 1.2150. Far low limit is 1.2150. This 1.2380 level is that interim support level that we've seen being quite effective since 2018. So in the overall scheme of things, back to the H4 time frame, what we spoke about yesterday, actually in the office, we was talking about this, saying that this would have been a very nice opportunity to take a little bit of a higher risk trade to jump in as a possible counter trend, right? As a possible counter trend with some US dollar rebound expected. We saw that huge weakness come around because of FOMC that caused that big drop. But as it dropped that much, didn't think that the Canadian dollar could maintain being so strong. We saw that bounce back up from 1.2380. Right now sitting at 1.25, what's possibly going to happen is it's going to sit and test this support level. It's going to test this support/resistance level at 1.25 all the way to 8:30 tonight GMT +8 Singapore time, where if the retail sales number does come out at minus 3% and the core retail sales does come out at minus 2.6%, we might actually see that climb upwards that way, right? So if it does come out as a minus number, it could show a weakness in consumer sentiment, a weakness in consumer spending. And we know that consumer spending is a big part of GDP, the overall sentiment of the economy. So as retail sales number possibly shows any weakness, we could see that push up above 1.25 towards 1.2635. So in terms of a trade, what to look out for, I'll move this up a little bit. I would say, above 1.2520. So above 1.2520, you could be looking at a tight, relatively tight 30 pip stop loss for a comfortable 90 to 100 pip take profit level. Okay, there will be a 1:3 risk reward ratio there. And knowing that this is a bit of a counter trend trade, well, quite a big counter trend trade, reversing last week's move back towards the 1.2635, it has already moved up a good 123 pips so far. Already moved up 123 pips so far. So I do anticipate that it might sit there, test this support level, support/resistance level for a bit before, if it does bounce off, break through that 1.25, get to about 1.2520, we could see that upward move in conjunction with the retail sales number coming from the CAD tonight at 8:30. So there's the US CAD quite quickly, quite relatively straightforward. Let's say on the flip side, retail sales number comes out and it's ridiculously good. It's a positive number. It's not a minus 2.6 on core retail. It's not a minus 3% on retail sales. Let's say it's a 1%. Let's say it's a recovery in retail sales number. Or we see a further surprise from the US side, with US reversing the gains that it's had recently. We could actually see that reverse back down. But in this case, I think that with US Treasury yields improving, with a possible retail sales number coming out weak, I think that upward move is still the more likely scenario. Doing a quick review of what happened this week, on the Aussie US, we anticipated it was going to go to 7.666 before bouncing back up. It didn't go as far as 7.666, but it did come down a little bit before going back to test the 7.836 resistance level. And this is where your support and resistance is so crucially important. Testing that resistance, it got rejected and came straight back down again. Anticipation now is probably over the next week, we could see it come back down towards 7.666 again. New Zealand US dollar did a little bit better than, as we expected. It did come down, test 7.167, said it was going to go back towards 7.225. It did that in quicker than we expected, broke above, and now it's back to where it started, back to before the FOMC price levels at 7.159. Anticipation is we might see it sit there, maybe test a little bit lower before bouncing back up again. The euro dollar has been a mess. Euro dollar has been a mess this week. We saw it sitting in that straddle. Traders Club members got the video that I was sharing with you, talking about that straddle, that squeeze on 1.19. It did break above. It went to the target as we expected on the Traders Club video, and even on the currency analysis, saying that if it broke above 1.1940, we could see it hit 1.1985. That was a very good 40 pip profit level there. But, as we saw yesterday, surprise Treasury yield increase on both the 10-year and 30-year US Treasury yields. So we saw the US dollar strength come back, pushing the euro dollar back towards that 1.19 support level. At this point, possibly going to sit across again and then maybe move back up. But we'll see what happens coming from the Eurozone. Euro pound hasn't done too much. The pound dollar did go up and test 1.4 as anticipated, as we discussed. That red line shows before the FOMC did that analysis saying it was going to go up and test 1.4. It was a good 60 pip move upwards, hit that resistance and turn back down. Same as what it did last week. So I could probably think that it will probably repeat that pattern again next week. All right. US yen has been sitting across, possibly moving a bit lower because of that relaxation in the yields control from the Bank of Japan. But until that's released, let's wait and see what could happen there. Euro yen has come down. It's coming down as we spoke about yesterday. We spoke about this yesterday, saying it's going to come down, test 1.2951. Right? I hope we have been patiently waiting for that move to come down. If it does bounce off this 129.51 level, then we could see it bounce back up towards 130.62 and possibly even higher towards 131.71. Pound yen, has reacted again, same like what it did last week and this week at the 152.26 level. It hit that level, it turned back down. At this point now, it's possibly going to do the same as what it did earlier this week, sit across, and then possibly test higher if we do see the pound strengthen into next week. Then we could see, if it does break above 152.26, we could see significant upside. All that moves, everything seems to be on a bit of a recovery mode right now, all leading up to what could happen next week. So coming back into the news, looking at what could happen next week, we can change our calendar setting here, look at next week and see what's going to happen here. All right, and then you can see that next week on Monday, not a lot of things happening. There's a lot of news, but nothing big going to push prices significantly higher or lower. Look out for some of the treasury bills, but I don't think it's going to move too much. We've already seen it happen already. We've got a lot of pound numbers coming out on Tuesday. So this could be one of the drivers to push the pound dollar back above 1.4, push the pound yen higher again as we see some recovery in earnings, some recovery in employment change, and some possibly some unemployment rate recovery from the UK as well. And then as we go through, we've got new home sales numbers on the US. On Wednesday, a lot of New Zealand and Aussie numbers, PMI numbers coming from Australia. I think it could push the Aussie dollar a lot higher, but I'll tell you more about that on Monday as we go through the Aussie dollar. And then we've got, again, a lot of pound news coming out on Wednesday afternoon. CPI numbers coming out, telling you what the inflation rate is going to be like in the UK. Are they on track to achieving the inflation targets? PMI numbers on the Eurozone coming out as well on Wednesday evening. And then after that, some PMI numbers for the US. So you can see that we're possibly going to be waiting until Wednesday before we're going to see quite good movements in terms of price for the US dollar, for the pound, for the Eurozone. And then on Thursday, US GDP numbers coming out, possibly not a lot of changes. So we might see some stability there. And then look at it, pound again, retail sales number on Friday afternoon, retail sales number month on month, year on year, core retail sales number, all being released for the UK. So I think you should gather that sense that we're going to be quite UK focused, pound focused on the pound dollar, pound yen, any other cross pairs you're looking at, the pound will probably be that big mover for next week. And then we're going to see, that's it, some consumer sentiment for the US into Friday next week, and then the budget for the Canadian dollar. All right, so a lot of things happening next week in terms of the pound, coming from the pounds, and some from the Eurozone, some from the US. We've seen how yields have driven prices significantly lower against the US dollar. We've seen the US dollar strength come around. With that, do trade a little bit more carefully today, especially as we come into the end of the week. We might see some profit taking. We might see a little bit of a retracement, or even, a little bit more volatility than expected. So with that said, I'll pass it to Daniel now to guide you through some of the cryptocurrencies.
Okay, thanks, Jin. So let me pass over straight to the charts. Okay, so let's look at the Bitcoin coming in. I mean, last week I didn't do any cryptocurrencies call, but 2 weeks ago I did mention that most likely it'll move across before it breaks upwards, and it did that, and it continued to climb to 55,000 and surprisingly 60,000 quick up before quick profit share taking. A lot of people coming back to 55,000 range. Now, what this means, is that it has followed the trend really very strongly, and then there's a new inner line trend line going up. There could be a retracement back down. Okay, so looking at this right now here, sorry, I went to take the arrow. We'll look at it is, I think it's going to move across or hover around 55,000 before a decision for these retail traders coming in and deciding what to do. Worst case situation is that it will retrace back to an inner line, okay, inner line, or in fact it will just comes all the way down to this outer trend line here, like this. Now, let me put it too far apart. Maybe this week will be going down like this one here, but more highly chance it's going to move across before it continues up. Now, the question now of everybody's mind is that will it continue the trend and break the past 60,000? Right now it's quite high again, but again, for cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin is never too high. People are really still talking about pushing further up, higher and higher to 100K. I think we need to be cautious because you can see the growth upwards has been slowing down. Okay, has been slowing down. So if you look at, like, for example, the 4-hour chart, look at how the price has been moving. It's always moving up before it goes slowly upwards direction, and then it slowly moves up. So what we could be looking for is that perhaps it will move across, and if it indeed does move towards 60,000 and break, it will move again, perhaps a slower move to a 65,000 range. That's the best case that we could be seeing. If it breaks above 60,000, then it will go to 65,000 here. Okay, so that's for the Bitcoin pricing. I don't think it's going to crash down anytime soon unless the regulation, like the US, the European regulations are going to come out something and say that no, the government is going to control the Bitcoins, control the cryptocurrencies. Until then, I think the trend for upward movement is going to continue on. Okay, now if then next thing we could look for is the Ethereum. Ethereum, again, same thing, move across, moving outwards, hit above the 18,000 range. It seems to going all the way to about 19,900 level. Right now, Ethereum is not as hot as Bitcoin. It will still continue to move on. I think right now the limit is at the 2,000 range here. So they're looking here. I think what would happen is no longer this way here. It's probably going to move down close to 16,000 range or so. Before then, we'll make a decision. Now, then that will be looking at the 16,000 range here. If it does move up, then we will probably go to 18,000 range. But if it does breaks down, we should break down the 16,000 support level. We could be looking at a possible sell trade. I know this doesn't seem to the same direction here, but I think at this 16,000 support level range is going to be a critical level to make a decision on whether it will continue up or not. But my bias is to follow the Bitcoin, Ethereum with the Bitcoin. So if the Bitcoin does push above higher, right, it push above higher than the 60,000 range, then it will help to propel Ethereum to even higher range here to about 18,000 or even to about 19,000 range. So that's what. So looking at it, I think Ethereum will be following the Bitcoin because there's no real motivation for Ethereum. Looking at Bitcoin as the main driver, the trend most likely will continue on, but just at a slower pace, unless you have another Elon Musk or anyone making an announcement that they are buying huge amount of Bitcoin. Okay, with that, let me pass it back to Jinwei.
Okay, thank you, Daniel and Jin, for the analysis today. Okay, guys, do check out the chat box. I've just posted some links. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel for the daily recordings. Our Telegram signal group is totally free signals for everyone. So if you're interested in getting the faster signals and learn the strategy behind the signals, get into Traders Club. The link is also here. And if you're looking for a managed account service, to check out forexbriefcase.com. So we have come to the end of the session today. We'll see you guys on Monday for the currency call. Thank you guys, and see you guys on Monday. Goodbye.